Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our panel on coding as a core subject, necessary or overrated. My name is Mfon. I'm a software developer. At this moment, I will give chance for my co-panel members to introduce themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Fon. I'm Dr. Suad Al-Ribdi. I am Director of Entrepreneurship in King Saud University in Saudi Arabia. I am a co-founder of Dinagen, which is providing, based on AI solution, providing protection or digital DNA for product, preventing counterfeiting. I'm also teach in university as entrepreneurship. I hold my PhD degree in entrepreneurship, specialized in technology transfer and innovation. I hold also computer science, bachelor computer science, so I have kind of multiple roles. And I let my colleague.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I see a lot of faces that I saw yesterday. So my name is Abhishek, and I am founder of Digital Alchemist Labs. We build AI-first softwares, and we also teach people or group of people or dev teams how to integrate AI in their own workflows. And right now, we are working with education sector, and we create smart modular learning management systems. And we also do boot camps where we teach personalized career paths for people who are already in coding or already have started their journey as a junior developer. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Nazik Zaidan. I am the head of smart learning in Mohammed bin Zayed University for Humanities in Abu Dhabi. I'm also the co-founder of Moj AI Solutions. My work is all about education and technology. We do a lot of trainings on tools and educational tools that students and teachers can use in the classroom for teaching and learning. And I'm very passionate about training and helping people understand the value of using educational tools in their daily lives as well as in their learning and teaching.
Okay. For this topic, we'll really try to explore whether coding should be taught like other subject, core subject like maths and science, and coding impacts on jobs and how coding actually fit into the modern education. So I'll start with you, Kumar. So with your background and developing like AI solution, modular LLM, my first question for you will be, should students learn coding just like maths and science?
Yeah, that's a pretty complex question. It sounds pretty easy, but it's actually very complex. Not easy to answer, but I think it would make sense if I first start by what is coding. So we'll be in a better position to make a clear decision. Should you actually learn coding? Should you not? So what is coding? Like in a very simplistic way, coding is basically programming a machine, computer system in this case, to do a step-by-step instructions to achieve a certain target. Simplistically, that's what a coding is, and that's in a traditional sense. But if we go with AI systems, that's a bit different. So when we talk about AI coding, like coding with AI or creating an AI system apart from the traditional coding, that's where we don't know what's happening in the processing part. We know the input, we know the output, but while training the AI system, we don't know what's happening in between. So it's very important to understand and clearly define what's the difference between traditional coding and what's like building an AI system, which involves learning, actually. So when we do traditional coding, we are basically trying to get a certain output. And when we do AI, we're trying to predict the next step, or we are trying to do some kind of reinforcement learning or supervised learning. So let me give you an example. So I think a lot of people use Uber here. And in that, like in the traditional sense of coding, we are using certain algorithm that can find the shortest distance between point A to point B. That is very predictable. You can, basically trace what's happening in the algorithm. You can tell what was the previous step based on the action it takes next. But when we talk about AI systems, we know the input. While we are training the AI system, we know the output as well. But we don't know what the algorithm is doing inside. Like, it's like a black box. So we get the output as a probabilistic numbers. So we are not entirely sure what's gonna be the next output. So in this sense, let me just give you another example for AI. It's a very cliche example. It's, let's say, we built an image classifier and we give an image of, let's say, a cat. So the AI system analyzes based on the data it has been trained on previously to identify that, okay, I am 99.99% sure that the output is cat. That's the output that we get when we talk about AI systems. Yeah. So knowing these two differences, should we learn coding? It depends. Like, if you are a student right now and you want to go into a career field of being a developer, then you should start from the basics. Like, you should learn what the basic principles of coding is. You should learn how to talk with the machine, computer systems. Then you should move into AI systems or AI tools to better augment or make your life easier, basically, when you're coding. Yeah. But it's very necessary that you know the basics. That's the answer for yes. Like, if you do go with coding, learn the basics first. If you are not learning the coding, you still need to learn AI tools. You still need to learn how to use AI. Because now, like, everyone is talking about ChatGPT, Gemini, LLM tools. So if you're into business or if you work in any professional field, you need to learn how to use these tools. So not necessarily coding, you might want to learn how to use these AI tools to efficiently get the results that you might get in, let's say, 10 days. You can get that in 1 day or something like that.
Thank you. Yeah. But sorry, I feel, Doctor, you have a different opinion about that. Can you help?
Yes, we've been arguing about this. We're saying that coding is very important. For me, I feel that coding is a tool that is very important in the education system. The reason that I'm saying that is because if you're a coder, your thought process becomes very different. The algorithms, you know how to flows, you can cover everything around the system that you want to develop. But if you're just doing a prompting, you're asking a machine to create a code for you. Like, this is why I'm saying AI. Everyone can code now. You can just go to ChatGPT or Cloudy or whatever and just type, code for me a website and it will do that for you. But is it really teaching you what the value behind this? Is it really showing you the context, the story behind why you're coding this? You need to create a lot of prompting to do that, right? But if you're a coder, you already have the algorithm, the flow, you've already did the system, you've done the studies, the gap analysis, what are you exactly wanting to code? So we need to teach students the idea, the basics behind coding in the classroom so that when they go out in life, they know that everything is like a code. They need to think the thought process, the flow, the algorithm, the way things are going in a systematic way so that they can solve these problems.
Okay, thank you so much. So my personal experience is this. Sometimes I find it so difficult to explain certain things for people, my client, my customer. So, like, let's take example like conditional kind of argument, If you are a coder or you have that basic skills, how to use like conditional statement, you should know if this, else yes, if that, and something like in repetition, like a simple loop. Yeah. So for me, in my own opinion, I feel coding should be a core.
Important.
A core
It's a core
subject.
subject, yes. Totally agree.
Thank you. Okay, next question, that's for you, Dr. Swed. The question is, does coding really prepare students for future job?
Yes, that's a good question, actually, because if we continue discussion about what the previous question, coding is important. We all agree that everyone need to, we can look at coding in a form of digital literacy. Everyone need to know basic of a coding in terms of understanding what's the problem and how to write the problem, how to how to make it in a steps, decomplying the problem in a symbol or a steps that machine understand it. And then also this is one skill that is called in every subject we need it. It's logical thinking. So we need to learn this skill in every subject. So I don't think people know that those people who study coding and computer science, they have these skills, but they don't know about it. That's why in the future, and
The mic a little.
oh, sorry. Now it's good. So I think every student need these skills of coding. For example, first is logical thinking. So decomplying steps of a problem in steps that the machine understand. Then validation of the codes and optimization, and then learning how to give or formulate instructions for the machine that's understood by machine and human. And then also tracing the errors or debugging mindset. So these are skills is important for every subject, actually. I face these skills every day in doing my research, in not coding research, is not computer science research, it's normal research. I define the problem, knowing the steps, and then validate, and then test. And so I think these skills is everywhere. For example, in the entrepreneurship science, we have the design thinking is similar of define the problem, ideate, test, and give feedback. Same thing with engineering. And so I think these skills is everywhere, and the learning how to code teach students how to have these skills for future jobs.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Moving forward. Okay.
I'd like to add, and just whatever my colleague said, coding can give you some skills that you would need maybe in other subjects, or maybe as a life, if you want to solve a problem, you get a problem-solving skills. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
And what I'm coming from is you need to be very clear as far as just coding as a core subject is concerned. If your objective is to, again, become a developer, or do you want to be, working in different profession in a school, maybe after the school. So you need to be very clear on that, because the landscape is changing in coding. People are using, just like you mentioned, people are using no-tool codes to basically design a website that used to take months in just one day. So unless you know the basics of coding and you are in this field to basically build software or application, you need to know the basics. So I totally agree on that. And I also agree on the part that learning coding gives you a problem-solving skills as you move forward. I just wanted to add that.
Thank you so much.
Great.
I'm coming to you, Doctor.
Thank you.
I know you are in strong support for coding as a core subject. But my question is coding more important than creativity or communication? Or should it complement them, please?
Okay, so to answer that question, coding is not important than creativity and communication, but it always works together.
Yeah.
Without creativity and communication, students cannot work. And the future belongs to students who know how to code, how to communicate, and how to be very creative.
Yeah.
Because without those three, they can't.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of research from Harvard that I read about that states that the skills for the 2025, I think they were mentioning that coding, creativity, storytelling, ideas, all this, they work together for the students of the future. Because if students don't know these, they won't be able to survive in the upcoming future where AI is everywhere. So they need to learn how to code very importantly. I've also noticed in my office, when we have the teams, those who know how to code, they are very organized in their thought process, in the way they display things, in the way they present. They're very organized in that sense. And those who don't code, I noticed that a little bit messed up, not messed up, but a little bit unorganized, let's say. I don't want to say that, but they're unorganized because the thought process of a coder is always the same, the logical way of thinking. So they would always go from 1, 2, 3, and 4 before they come up with the final story, right?
I totally agree with you, but sometimes for me, I also notice that some of us that have been in that field for long, communication seems to lack. I don't know whether you've experienced
For coders,
that.
yeah, there is a lack in communication skill.
Yes,
I see that a lot in my boot camps.
Yes.
So these are the skills these are the soft skills that coders, that especially who has been coding for the years, they should really focus on that.
Of course.
Yes,
of course.
can I add on this? I think also we always need to remember you cannot just depend on coding only. You have to have other skills.
Yeah.
It's not going to teach you all the skills, but it's going to teach you some of the skills that you need. But there is other skills also complementing these skills.
I think coding is a tool. And I think that creativity is the engine and communication is how we drive the ideas. That's what I think.
Thank you.
That's beautifully put. Yeah, that explains a lot.
Thank you so much. So, moving forward, we are expecting questions from the audience before we go move on. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning. Is it on? It should be on.
We can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so coding-wise, thank you for this. Morning session, I think a lot of people are asleep, but it's very important. Okay, so I have 4 children. I'm from Singapore. I'm the CEO of World Maritime Consultancy Services. And a lot of people tell me coding can be done by AI. Okay, so let me give you a bit of history. My youngest son, when he was 10 years old, I sent him to do coding. And I found a fantastic professor in Russia. And at 10 years old, he could already start coding. But when he was doing coding, my older son told him, you must monetize your skills. So made him do NFTs. So he was doing small drawings, and at 10 years old, he has an Ethereum account, and he has his own money. He's now 14 years old. I've just sent him to Europe for specialized boxing. He's much taller than me, though he's 14. But a lot of my professors whom I work with from all this digital media keep telling me, stop your son from doing coding. Let him be a hacker. He says hacking is more money. But I let my son do what he wants, so he can create websites for people overnight. And he's super smart, but I got him to train from others because my own classmate, a lot of people do coding. But now they tell us you don't really need. I'm an old-fashioned guy, so I train people in behavioral soft skills, and governments call me to give them that foundation. And like what Dr. Nazid Zaidan says, creativity and the rest, that's what I train people in. And my concept is asset intelligence, adversity quotient, emotional, social, technology quotient. Before you talk about competency that is technical, which I think is easy. So can I ask you all, while you say coding necessary or overrated, can you give me a bit of assumption on hacking and the other parts of the digitalization? Thank you.
Sure, that's an amazing question. Congratulations to you that your son is already doing coding and doing such a great job. So the question is like, should we actually invest time on coding as a core subject, and which is also our main topic? And how does AI fit in this, right? So as far as coding is concerned, and since I can tell that your son is really interested in coding, they should know the basic skills. Like if I give you an example, like we work with the clients and we also train some students in our boot camp. So they think like coding is really cool, and they use AI tools to create the front-end, back-end database, they connect it. But the way these AI tools work is they feeding on all the data that is already available in the internet, and they are coming up with the best solution. So sometimes, as a coder or as a developer, I might not understand what's happening in there. And if I don't understand, I cannot make any more changes in there.
True.
Or if it needs to be customized to the customer, that would be a bit of a difficult task if I do everything from, let's say, Claude or ChatGPT, Gemini. So as a basic principle, you need to learn coding's principles in such a way that you can make changes, even if you use the AI tools. Yeah.
Yes, to add to that, I'm just saying that it's a way of thinking. Coding is a way of thinking. So since your son, I really am happy that your son is there because I feel that he has now the basic way of thinking. So since he has that, he can become anything he wants. Hacker, no hacker, he can do that because now he knows how to code. And since he knows how to code, his thought process has changed, the algorithms, the flows, everything, and even the debugging of any issue that he finds in life or in his face, he can always code it and he can always find the solution for that. So I congratulate your son and congratulate you on your thought process.
I can add also on this. We always hear people saying, stop teaching your kids how to code because AI is doing it and all that. But I believe that coding is like math. We return to our first question. If you learn coding in early stage when you are a kid, then you learn the basic. And then after that, like, you know how to deal with the AI easily and understand the AI. Like example, like we can just look at it as like when you study math, we don't teach students how to use a calculator. First, we teach them basic math, and then they can use the calculator. It's the same thing with the coding. So I believe that your son has to complete and keep trying coding. It's good for him. And then later on, as my Dr. Nazik said, he can be anything he wants.
Thank you. Thank you. Next question.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for a wonderful panel. I actually have two questions, if I may. I'm Wide Finch. I'm an expert lecturer at the University of Applied Sciences in Holland, back in the Netherlands. And I teach and research software development, applied AI, and cybersecurity. And what we've seen in the field of cybersecurity, you see the technical knowledge needed to become a hacker has decreased because of the tools that are available. And I'll see, or at least from my point of view, I see a similar change when we talk about coding, where the level of getting into coding is getting lower because the technical knowledge you need is being less because of the tools you have to help you. How do you see curriculums evolve in adapting to this new trend to make sure that we only do the basics and introduce these tools in the right time to create more impact?
That's a very good question. This is why we're here. We're trying to implement the idea that coding is a core subject. It should be a core subject, just like teaching math and science. Because now when we think about it, everything is about coding. I'm not saying that the AI can't code. It can code, and now we don't have to write these long scripts, but it's a thought process, like I said, debugging, structured thinking, logic, algorithms. So if the students have coding as a core subject in their curriculum, which we're trying to, plant now the idea that we have to have coding as a subject. Then the students will, when they graduate, when anything, even if it's just like a problem in their daily life and comes to them, they will start thinking like a coder, like a developer, like someone who's writing a code. They will go to the root and they'll find the problem, and then they'll know how to build it, and what if conditions and the functions, and if I do this, the operation, what will happen, and if I miss something, then there's going to be an error. So this thought process, this structure in the mind, in the thinking, is what leads them to solving the problem in life. So this is why we think it's something it should be like not just about how to code, Python or C++ or Basic or whatever, Visual Basic or whatever new coding that's going to come. But it's about the thought process. It's about how to think.
Sorry, let me add. Yesterday I was standing beside Kumar. He was talking to someone. So the way he was like trying to understand the problem, the requirement, I have to turn back and ask him, are you a developer? So, that's the same thing what Doctor is trying to tell you. With coding as a background, that will help you in your thinking and the way you do things. You take things step by step, how to solve a problem. So coding is quite good.
Yeah, I would like to add to your question. So you're asking like how should we update our curriculum as we are moving forward with new, AI is coming in. Where do we start as a basics, and how far should we go, teaching our students with the AI and stuff. So when I was in school, we had a compulsory coding as a subject. So, but what we learned was really old language, like assembly language. We learned COBOL and other stuff. But now, basically, very less people learn that. So as we move forward, new language system will come up. Like right now, JavaScript is really good. People are learning Next.js, React. So as we move forward, new language will come up, but the basic principle should be there, which would be problem solving. We need to identify what the problem is, what's the best method to solve that problems. So coding is just like a tool, and we can choose any tool in that toolbox to solve the problem.
Okay, your second question.
Yeah, it kind of adds into this, and I think I can distinguish the answer already from what you're giving me. Maybe it's more of a confirmation of what I'm hearing and seeing. So last week I got a research sent to me about from the University of Utrecht back in the Netherlands that states that we should treat learning, or when we try to develop new software developers, to not treat it as a technology subject, but as a societal or science subject. What's your take on that?
Yes. As working from a university background, I'm also working in a university. So we teach foundational courses, artificial intelligence, we teach entrepreneurship as foundational courses. So I think coding should be added to that list as well, because it wasn't in the curriculum, in the K-12 curriculum. So when students come to real life skills, when they graduate from the universities and they go out to life, they find that the core subjects that they have been studying do not provide jobs for them. Not because it's not that it's not needed. Yes, they will be specialized in a topic. Let's say if they're philosophers, because I'm from a humanities, or the lawyers, or they're a language expert. But still, they need to learn how to use a computer. They need to learn how to open their businesses if they wanted to open a business. They need to learn what is AI, how it works, what's the logic behind, because everybody's using AI now. So learning these basic foundational course is very important for these students before they go out to life. Because now, if they go out to life without skills, it's all about skills now. It's not just the specialization that, oh, I graduated from this or this. It's about the skills that you have that will put you in a good position to find a good job.
May I react to that? So can I conclude that it's more important to gain the underlying skill of problem solving than just learning how to write a software tool?
True. This is what we talked about. We said
Yeah.
that without coding is part of communication, part of creativity and problem solving. And it's also the basics of learning how to problem solve.
Of course, of course.
I think
Yeah, I just add like what you said totally makes sense. I would just add one more point: is learning how to learn, because new skills are coming so fast. You need to learn to keep yourself updated with the new techniques. So learning how to learn these technical skills, that would
Yeah, I
that's-
totally agree on that. It's more important to have these fundamental skills that make you adapt, since we're so very rapidly evolving. So thank you for agreeing on that.
You have something?
I'm just gonna add, like, if I think we need to learn coding as a subject in university and computer science, but also we have to make this subject is like a major or a minor in some of the other subjects. So it's like also the entrepreneurship is similar to it. Like in university, my university, in King Saud University, we have a minor in AI. It's open for a lot of subjects. So because we know that future is going to be dominated by AI, so any subject has to have that basic of understanding. But also that's not mean we don't have to study coding and we don't have to have developers. This subject is gonna still be there. It's important. So that's what I'm.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to thank you, because otherwise I might take a seat and join you all up on the panel.
Yeah.
But thank you all for your insights.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving forward. Okay, we are in the
Do we have more
AI
questions?
era.
I just want to add something. There was a research on the OECD. Research found that students who learn programming show higher gain in logical reasoning, pattern recognition, and decision-making skills. And they can apply far beyond computer science, which is something, when I read this research, I was like, oh my God. So it is true. Like whenever we have someone who's studied the computer science, like most of us, we're doing research, right? Because whenever we do any kind of development or problems or studies, we do a research on that. So our logical way of thinking is far more deeper than a normal person, because we sit in a room, we do brainstorming with each other, but people who have coding in their, like who are coders or who have the basics of coding, are able to think far more deeper than the normal person in the room. And that is something I've just noticed when I see the teams and when I see people, even in the higher education. We have a lot of professors, PhD holders, but those who had some basic skills in coding, they have a deeper thought than the other because of the design process of thinking. And
Agree.
Thank
Totally
you.
agree to that.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, my next question will be for Dr. Surat. Okay. Now we are in AI era. So the question is, what do you think about the role of teachers? Or should their role change now that AI can help students write code?
Yes, I'm going to first talk about my experience when I studied computer science, like maybe 20 years ago, or as a bachelor degree. So my experience was how my professors teach us how to code was literally how to write each line and not understanding the logic or not understanding the whole problem. So, and after I finished my bachelor, I think my passion is, I thought, oh, that's boring. I don't want to complete in computer science. And then I just changed my major to business. I took my master in a business, and then I completed my PhD in the entrepreneurship and innovation. And then I really love business, and I really love the PhD in computer innovation and entrepreneurship, because there is a problem. The thing that is like match me more, I don't think it's boring at that time. But when now, after being in a practice, and I see how computer science and how is coding is developer are like very needed in everywhere, I thought, I just think about it, that I was teachers at that time, they're not really focusing on teaching students how to, the skills of coding that needed. If what I believe now that teachers and professors should focus in these skills, not to teach students how to write each line of a code, but how to design the thinking, design that problem in a codes after that, and how to know each steps, where is the error, how to trace the error, how to train these codes and put optimization and validation of those codes. So that's that the teachers need to focus on.
Thank you.
More.
Thank you. Doctor, do you have any?
No, I think she said it in the right way. It's all about the thought process and the thinking. I think now teaching should be changed from just the coding to thinking.
Thinking.
My main basic thing is about the thought process. The more they show the students how to think, the more it
Also
becomes
related to the problem, because lots of teachers forgot, and this is maybe related to the communication skills that we always miss. They have to always relate to the problem and relate to the real life, not just the code.
Thank you so much. So back to you, Kuma. Okay, my question is, what is the simplest way school could teach coding to everyone without taking time away from other subjects?
So what's the simplest way to teach coding without taking time away from other subjects?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the best way to, my colleagues mentioned, is to think in a way that I'm solving a problem. You can apply the problem-solving skills to other subjects as well. For example, if you're learning math or science and you have a mathematical problem, try to develop a simple code snippet. This way, you are using not just your coding skills, but also problem-solving skills. And apart from that, I would also like to add, communication skill is really nice. So you got a result. You need to show that. You need to communicate to the people who are the stakeholders, let's say, or your teachers. How do you come to such conclusions? What are the methods you used? And what are other methods to solve those problems?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so I'll just give you a story about my journey when I was doing my PhD. We were told to do coding with Python. And I have been away from the coding for a long time, and I had no idea how to do Python. Yes, I did have the basics when I was very young, long time back. Not saying my age, but when it came to that time, it was something new to us. I had to use Python. Okay, how do I use Python? And I used the thought process that I learned from the coding, and then I started practicing. So I believe that if we want to add coding in a curriculum where students can learn coding, we need to give them space, a safe space, a good environment to practice and make errors, and a lab, a place like a virtual lab or something, even project-based learning where we give them a project and then include a coding within the project so that they can solve the problem using these codings. Because this is how I learned Python. I learned to solve a problem using a code that I never knew before, and I'm sure these new generations, they're very fast learners, they're very easy with the computer, and they know how to use computers easier than how we used to learn. But I think it should be included in all the math and science curriculum.
Thank you so much. Because of time, we've come to the end, but before we close, I would like us to give our final statement.
Yeah, I can start.
Yeah.
So, like I mentioned, we need clarity on which path we want to go. And based on that clarity and based on that understanding, you can choose to go with the field of as a software developer, or anyways you need to learn coding to enhance your skills, problem-solving skills. But you also need to learn AI prompting. That's a no-brainer. For everyone, you need to learn AI prompting. Otherwise, the people who use that, they're going to go much farther away. Yeah.
Thank you.
I believe that people who know how to code will go to the future.
I agree.
So I want to encourage everyone to make sure that their kids learn how to code, and nephews, niece, whoever you have as a kid, to encourage them into coding. So it's
Thank you.
amazing.
I just have a message for all of you educators, because I believe some of you are in the education field. If you have a chance in changing that, like adding those skills to your coding of skills or any skills we talk about logic and solving problem to the curriculum of your school or your training program or any, just do it. And this will change a lot for future.
Thank you so much. So for me, coding may not be the answer for every student, but coding is the bigger story, preparing every person for the digital world. Thank you.
Thank you so
panel.
much for this
Thank you,
wonderful
everyone.
discussion, and thank you everyone for coming.